Hi everyone. First of all, go Cavs! Game 7 tonight of the NBA Finals. Super excited for it. I've been wearing their hat now for the last 2 weeks, all throughout the finals, and I'm stoked for tonight's game. So looking forward to that. Today's talk will be revolving around a conversation I had with my wife a few weeks ago. I came home from work one day, and as we always do, we always like to talk about our days. We always like to talk about all the things that we read in the news and etc. etc. This particular day, we talked about the government mandate that had just come out that day, with the letter from Obama expressing that from here on out, transgender kids are allowed to go to whichever bathroom they want to go in school and are protected and should be protected by the school, mandated by the government. So with that, she asked me, would you like to think about homeschooling our kids now? Is that an environment you want your kid growing up in, throughout elementary, middle school, and high school, having to deal with all of that? I heard her out. She had a couple of good points, and then finally we kind of talked about how will our kid decide what the right thing to do is when everyone around them are doing different things. So those are the 2 points I'm going to be talking about today. Number 1, the environment in schools, and number 2, how will it affect the kids' decision making while they're in school. So the first one, regarding the environment, truth of the matter is the LGBT community isn't going anywhere. Right now they make up a very small percentage of the population, and that number is only going to keep going up the more quote-unquote popular it gets. And that's where I don't feel like it's fair that the government is catering to the 1%. The government should cater to all. It should be fair to all equally. And as it stands, now they have more precedent over the 99% of kids in school that don't agree with those ideals. When it comes down to it, parents will always worry about the environment that their schools are in. So I don't think that that's necessarily a huge issue as far as how things go. Parents have that right to worry, and, well, they'll worry, and they'll worry. But that's not my biggest concern with the environment. My biggest concern is the rise of bullying. Whereas before, the transgender kids, they would just go into the bathroom that they were quote-unquote assigned. No one really knew who they were, and yes, they lived in the shadows. You could argue that they lived in a closet, but at least no one knew no one was the wiser, and no one really singled them out. Whereas now they're going to feel more comfortable, which they should feel more comfortable, but with that, as they start using the bathrooms that they feel like they should be going to, bullies will be targeting them individually. Bullying will rise a ton because now those closet trainees will be singled out. Now everyone in the school will know who they are, what they're doing, and what their ideals are. And that's a big concern. That's probably my biggest concern in regards to the environment. The next point is a kid's decision making. Minority leads to popularity at a young age. We all remember that one kid that would come to school with the crazy hair, and overnight he'd become the most popular kid in class. Or the one kid that came with very extreme clothing, and again overnight they would become the most popular kid. Those type of things are what influence kids to do certain things, because now everyone is seeing that, oh, that kid with the crazy hair, he's the most popular kid in school, I need to do that too. And that's my biggest concern in regards to this issue, is that as those in the minority, as those transgenders become popular, which they will, then my kid could now look up to them and say, hey, I want to be that cool too. Maybe I'm biologically made that way as well. And that's something that I would be concerned about. I don't think the government should be influencing kids towards their ideals. That's fine that the government believes a certain way. I have nothing against that. But now they're pushing those ideals within the schools and in terms towards my kids. And I think every kid should be able to decide for him or herself how they want to live their lives. And then with that, that transitions into parents. Yes, parents have the main responsibility to teach their kids, both morally and scholarly. Yes, teachers do the majority of the busy work in terms of schooling, but parents have the responsibility to teach their kids what their ideals should be. Yes, teachers can help with that again, but it's the parents' responsibility ultimately. As well as, we as parents just need to teach our kids how to handle situations. If they run into a situation where they're feeling like they could be more popular if they acted or behaved a certain way, then we need to be able to teach them, well, this is actually how it actually is. And most importantly, us as parents, we have the responsibility to teach our kids how to stay true to themselves, how to stay true to what they believe in, how to stay true to what their parents have taught them, which is the solution or outcome that my wife and I came to. As we were discussing all these topics, all these solutions, it came down to homeschooling is not an option, at least for us. There's too much value, and value is being tested. I personally believe that that's when true character is born, is when our character is tested to start off with. So really the solution is teach correct principles and let them govern themselves. And that's an idea worth spreading. Thank you.